Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and this is Connor.
Hey guys.
We're going to talk about Outcast, Season 1, Episode 10. It's the season finale. It's called This Little Light. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. Well, that was a finale.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, obviously last week ended with that big ending, with the death of Mark and Megan getting possessed, and the girls possibly being in trouble. And I thought this episode started off very well with the suspense of what happened to the girls, because we see a little bit before the phone call where the girls sort of discover her acting
Yeah.
crazy, and then it goes from her opening the, or at least looking like she's about to open the closet door, to Kyle and the Reverend arriving, and as they're searching the house and we don't know if the girls are okay. I thought was handled very
Yeah, it's
well.
really well done.
Yeah, very suspenseful, and it kind of set up the tone for the whole episode actually, because most of the episode is them looking for Megan, who obviously the girls are fine. They find the girls in the closet, but them looking for Megan, who is wandering the streets. And props to one of our YouTube commenters last week, because they called exactly what the fireman and his wife were doing in that building.
Right, okay.
Because last week, me and Tim pondered what it was, what sin they'd put them in this building for, and someone said, "Oh, it's just a larger processing center for new
Yeah, I
demons."
thought it was. Didn't they kind of mention that last week
I
where
don't
they were
know. They
saying?
mention it. Me and Tim certainly didn't.
Because was it not last week where they said, because the guy's like, oh, I didn't sign up for this, and she goes, oh, it's just more of what we've been doing, just on a bigger scale.
Oh, it's been a week since I've watched it. I can't remember now.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that's what happened last week.
Um, but yeah, so they're doing that, and they've got this other woman whose eyes like burned out or stabbed out. Um, and the Reverend and Kel looking for streets of Megan. They go to the sheriff to tell him about Mark. Mark, who obviously is dead with glass in his throat. The sheriff needs to cover it up, and is like kind of slowly accepting that there's more stuff going on, and he accepts that, okay, I accept that it's not Megan that's done this, but no one's going to believe that. How am I meant to process that as a cop?
Yeah,
You know, how am I meant to put that through the system? So it looks like he's covering it up with outside sources. That's interesting. That little ginger shit, who confirmed himself to be the most evil scum cesspool of humanity, kidnapped Kel's daughter from the sheriff's house
yeah.
and gave him to or gave her to Sydney.
This is why you don't trust gingers.
You don't. I mean, for a split second, you might have been fooled when he goes to see the sheriff's wife that maybe he's realised how bad Sydney is, and he's going to like inform her or the sheriff about, you know, what's going on in the town, and maybe he's finally turning over a new leaf. But you would be fooled.
You would be very, very wrong.
Don't trust a ginger.
No, just don't.
Evil to the core.
Yeah, we are.
Evil.
Yeah.
But of course, the big stuff, of course, happens later on in the episode when Kyle goes to meet Sydney after realising he's got his daughter, and he takes him to the processing plant, we'll call it. I don't know what else to call it. Abandoned shop.
Conversion unit.
Yeah. And the big reveal in this episode is that Kyle's daughter also has the ability to remove the demons, much like he does.
I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago, did we not?
We did when I think it was when they had when Kyle and his wife had sex.
Yeah, and we talked about maybe it was genetic and passed down or something.
Yeah, because we talked about how the new baby might, and I went, wait a minute, why wouldn't the previous baby also fall under this?
Yeah,
And that's why we talked about his daughter.
but she does, so
No, she does, yeah. So I'll take that as a win.
yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get there, but we were pretty much in the area.
Yeah, we're in the ballpark. In the ballpark.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool moment as well. Like, because Kyle's getting his ass kicked by Megan, who's possessed, and she like jumps in, and you know as soon as she jumps in what they're about to reveal.
Yeah, but it works anyway.
Yeah, it worked really well. And it was nice. Kyle and the Reverend finally like teaming together. One of the scenes I really liked was when Kyle's trying to figure out where Megan possessed would go. He's like, "All right, you've been tracking these for a long time." And I like the line where he's like, "Yeah, but we've established that I've been doing shit." That was a good line. But he's like, you've been tracking these for a long time. Where would they go? What do they fear? And he first brings up, oh, the scripture, crosses, holy waters. Like, no, none of that bullshit, right? Yeah, once you start prodding them with a cross, they'll react. But what do they look for? What do they actually fear or want? And the Reverend, for the first time, like, kind of like, all right, I'm going to stop just spouting like lines from The Exorcist, and I'm going to actually think about, how
Yeah.
they act, and I like that. I like that he was forced into a position of looking at things differently. That said, his fuck up counter is increasing exponentially because well, don't get me wrong, I'm not against them burning the ginger alive.
Well.
Like, as improvements go, it's one I'll happily accept.
It's quite severe though.
It is quite severe, but the funny thing is you know what was happening as he was doing it. He's like, pouring gasoline all over the house. He's going to burn Sydney alive, and you see the shadow, and you knew from the hair, like, it wasn't Sydney, it was the kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, burn the ginger. I can get behind this. And then then he runs into his mother the next day and realizes what he's done. The silly sod.
What a silly bastard. I will say though that the bit before did lead to one of my favourite moments. In the end, like he's like, oh, they go to somewhere safe, and they go to the house where he was where Carl was a kid, and he goes, why would they come here? This is just full of bad memories, and he goes, bad memories for me, not for her.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, this entire season's done a really good job of seeding everything that matters in this final episode, because we know that she sees Kyle as a protector because of what he did when she was being sexually assaulted when they were teenagers.
Yeah.
So they've set that up really well. If that's where the possessed people, when they'll like still try to fight the demon, like if that's what they like, if that's what they go to, it makes sense that she would go to Kyle. Like, they've really established that over the season. So no, I thought that was good. But no, daughter having the powers was cool. I liked their conversation at the end as well, when he's like, okay, we're going to go where someone doesn't know about our superpowers. It's like, I'd rather fly or turn invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cute. And then, of course, our ending is everyone at the station, like, just stopping and looking at them. All these strangers. Now, I don't know if they were implying they were all demons or if there's something larger at play here.
I got the implication they were all meant to be demons.
Because there was one person who didn't stop, and like there was one person who just kept walking.
Yeah.
But there was like a lot of other people who just stared at them. So maybe that's like them saying that you can't just leave. But it's a decent cliffhanger for season 2.
I hope they do manage to actually leave and go somewhere else. It'd be nice to see some fresh environments.
It's possible, especially since we've lost at least one major character from the town.
Yeah, and I can see that kind of ruling out a lot of the sheriff stuff as well.
Yeah. What I think will be a development next season is I think Kyle's wife will come back into it, because Kyle's going to go to her and say, look, Megan's going through the same thing now. Except it's worse because she actually killed her husband. So you kind of need to help her get through this.
Yeah.
I can see that's how she comes back into things.
Yeah, that makes sense. And obviously, we've seen her and Megan have quite a good relationship anyway.
Yeah, we do. So, no. And I'll admit, I was genuinely concerned that they might not save Megan throughout the episode, because while Kyle and the Reverend were pondering like why he can save some of them and some of them can't, he mentions the passage of time and like how the longer it goes, the chances of it working diminish. And I was thinking, are they actually going to do a thing where she like becomes the villain for season 2? And she's going to be like this pure evil demon inside his sister's body. I could have seen it going that way. Now, admittedly, if you've read the books and you're further ahead, you would know that whether or not that's the case. But for me, like watching this, I was like, that's a possibility. They might do that. But I was relieved when they saved her.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's nice that they saved her, but if they had gone that route, you can see exactly why, and you can see the potential for good stories.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I like the idea that her and Kyle's wife have now got this shared link, and they can explore that side of it.
Yeah.
In season 2, so. No,
I did like that.
No, it was a good finale to a pretty great first season, I think. A bit slow in places over the
Yeah, a
season.
little shaky here and there, but mostly pretty great.
but it kept my attention. The tone was always spot on, and I think back when we did episode 5, we said how that added a lot of heart to the show, and I think since then it's really felt a lot better on the whole.
Yeah, it was important to have that when we did.
Yeah, because this last episode, like I cared about Megan surviving and being saved, and I
I
don't.
think, like, even if that had been an episode or two later, it might have been too late for it to have the same impact.
Yeah, but I cared about what happened in this episode because since around the middle of the season, it's really done a good job of
Yeah.
making me care about everything. And another interesting thing about Megan's character actually in dealing with this next season, to go into a really sort of serious like theme here, her being raped in a weird way kind of sets her up for this because it's kind of like a violation in a similar kind of manner.
It is. It is like it's taking her body without permission.
Yeah, it's so I don't know if that means I don't know if that means she has a way of coping with it better than other people would, or if it's worse because
Like trigger like PTSD or
yeah, it's like a trigger to like, oh my god, I'm back in the same place I was in my teens, and
they could go either way with it.
yeah.
But either way, I hope they address that and actually have that inform part of what does happen because I think that is important.
Yeah, but it was something that really stuck out to me is that this is a violation that's very similar.
Yeah.
It's not sexual, but I mean, it's
Doesn't have to be.
no, it doesn't. I mean, violation is violation. Like if you feel you've been taken out of control of yourself, and I'm not going to say it's worse. I mean, we can't say that because it's not a real thing. I mean, it's purely theoretical, but
Yeah.
but it didn't make her kill her husband. So I mean,
You're inclined to think anything demonic is automatically on a worse level than anything human. Just as the scale goes.
I think if she hadn't killed someone, especially someone she cared about, I would say the rape was definitely worse. But because she killed her husband,
Yeah.
it's
Pretty fucking bad.
yeah, yeah. And she's going to have to live with that. And again, that's why I think Kale's wife coming in to help deal with it. Because Kale's wife is going to realise, oh wait, when I was possessed, it wasn't actually that bad because I didn't kill anyone.
Yeah.
On the whole, I
just beat
this.
on my daughter a little bit. I didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, on the whole, with perspective, I came out of this not too bad.
I wonder if that'll be actually what makes her feel better. Because obviously at the minute she's off trying to deal with it herself. I wonder if her seeing Megan went through something worse kind of forces her to accept it and like try and help her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it going that way. There's a lot that they can do in season 2 from where they've left it.
Yeah, although the Reverend is fucked.
Oh man, he's
Like
such a stupid cunt.
that mistake is just. I mean, I know. Don't get me wrong. I joke about him being an evil little shit, but it was still a human being who wasn't possessed, and as far as the law's concerned as well, he just murdered someone.
Yeah, he was a dick, but maybe didn't deserve to be burned alive.
No, he deserved it, but the law just says it's wrong.
All right, well maybe this is my ginger bias creeping out.
I mean, he did kidnap a child, so that
Well,
potentially
yeah.
for some sort of sacrifice, at the very least, bait for Kyle's sacrifice.
Sure, but burning alive is like a crime reserved for witches. It's pretty severe.
Now, the last thing I want to touch on is Sydney, while Kyle's like trapped in the room, says how he's from the same place that Kyle's from. Now, this isn't like a huge revelation because obviously it's called Outcast. They've like even Megan at one point in this episode calls him the Outcast. But I just thought like that's probably the most blatant it's been in the show, where they've flat out said, in some way you come from the same place. And if you remember all the way back to episode 1, and the show started with what I'm pretty sure was, well, it wasn't Kyle as a kid, was it? It was the kid that was possessed in the first episode.
We did see some of Kyle as a kid being beat on by his mother, though.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But I'm just like wondering if there was a like, is Kyle like Kyle was born on Earth, right? So I'm thinking, whatever's inside of him, the outcast that was banished from like, well, I guess hell because he's not evil or whatever. I wonder if like that possessed him as a child or a baby even. Like
Yeah, I was under the impression it's conception even.
All right, yeah,
It
even
was
conception.
that's why he's different, because he was there before birth.
Yeah. But the fact that he can pass the power on to his daughter, though, would imply that it's not just possession, it's something, like, it's actually him.
Yeah. It's like I think what it is I'm gonna go with conception because whereas the ones that possess they share the body right with the human
Mm.
soul, he doesn't have a human soul. That's just what he is. He has only ever been this other thing that is his entire soul. Like there is no human side to him.
But he's still
But
hum-
he's
he's
but
humane though,
he's
if that makes
yeah,
sense.
it's the whole it's like the whole Superman thing, isn't it? He's an alien, but he is more human than like
Well,
any.
it's different than that because the rest of the demons are just full on evil, and I'm wondering if the reason why he is an outcast, why he left hell or was banished from hell, is because he is not evil.
Well, yeah, partially that, but I still don't think there is a human side to him. Whereas the others, there is literally two distinct things inside the body.
Oh no, I think it's just him. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, but it's not a bad like what he is isn't bad if that makes sense.
yeah, but it's also why the kids are as well because
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
I mean, maybe he's supposed to be bad, but he's just not, and maybe that's why he was outcast, or maybe whatever. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just speculating at this point. But no, that's the Outcast season finale. Pretty good. So we'll definitely cover that in season 2, which we're definitely getting because they're already shooting season 2. Production's already started, so I don't know if that means we're getting it earlier. I kind of hope not, because the last thing we want to do is like take stuff away from the summer and put it on during network time, because network time's already packed and summer's usually quiet.
yeah, we really need the summer content. Just leave it here.
Yeah, leave it in the summer, June, July, bit August. That's
It's nice. We like
yeah,
it there.
that's where it should stay. But no, that's Outcast. Let us know what you thought of the episode and the season as a whole in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that jazz. It helps us out a lot. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.